We're live with Lauren Dallas, guys. She's an entrepreneur's coach, a girl boss extraordinaire, one of the founders of Future Females, and she is back to answer all of your questions. You know, there's a lot of people who have kind of all of a sudden gone, I had a job and now I don't have a job. What do I need to do to actually create an income for myself if I've never been an entrepreneur before?
So what I would be doing if I was in that situation is a bit of discovery, self-discovery. Maybe this is journaling, maybe this is asking your friends and family, what do you ask me for advice on? What do you think is the value I can offer? Thinking about what are the skills you have from your job if you've just left a job that can still serve purpose in this world, because there are so many things. You're always learning. And one of the things that's important when you start a business is unlearning what you think you know. If you start from assuming you know absolutely nothing, then you're actually going to get ahead further than people who go, oh no, I know that, and just keep pushing against this brick wall, potentially of what they've learned in corporate.
A lot of people think, okay, I've done a degree. I'm done the studying thing now and it's over. But actually, you've got to continuously be learning. I'm good. How are you? There we go. And we're live. We're live with Lauren Dallas, guys. She's an entrepreneur's coach, a girl boss extraordinaire, one of the founders of Future Females, and she is back to answer all of your questions. Lauren, how are you doing today?
Yes, I'm doing really, really well. Thank you. It's been a very busy week. Feels like I don't even know what day it is.
It has been a very busy week. I know so many people have been actually now saying that they want to take a little bit of time off. I know I'm going to next week take a week just to kind of restructure and come back to earth, you know, and do all the back end things that I haven't had time to do. And although this is a time where a lot of people have been feeling overwhelmed because their businesses have come to a halt, there's other people that are just flourishing. Have you found that within your communities?
Absolutely. And I also think that it changes from day to day. You know, what I've seen is obviously COVID is a very stressful situation and different people have different stress responses. And for some like me, my response is to go immediately into action and huge, probably not particularly strategic action, but you just feel like if you're doing stuff, you're making progress. Yeah. And for others, the stress response is flight, right? And so instead of taking any action, they've gone, okay, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to pause and wait this out. And actually, neither of those responses is the most healthy. And so what I think we're seeing now, and I'm seeing personally as well as in my community, is a bit of an autocorrect. So I'm pausing this week and going, stop taking action. Make your plan again, realign to your strategy, get your systems, your processes, your team in order, and then run again. And I think, you know, for others on the flip side, it's like, okay, I've got this plan now. Now I'm just going to start taking a small incremental step each day in the right direction.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you're saying that because that's exactly what's happened with me as well. It's like, my response is always to dive in and just make things happen. And so that's how Thrive started. You know, I was like, okay, people need to be kept positive throughout this thing and people need to see the gifts within what is happening. You know, how do I keep people positive? And I dived in and I didn't take the time to kind of put all of that back end stuff in place to actually make it run correctly. And now I've kind of gone, whoa, okay, I need to take a breath, step back and just put all of those little systems in place. So I'm glad we're on the same page because when we have our coaching session, then you're going to be able to give me a lot of insights. For all of you who have tuned in, we are speaking to Lauren Dallas. She is an entrepreneur's coach. She is a serial entrepreneur herself, and she is one of the founders of Future Females. I would love to know, getting younger every day. Thank you, Nelson. I would love
to talking to me.
He's definitely talking to you. Nelson, were you talking to me or were you talking to Lauren?
Oh, hard question.
I know. He's going to have to say both. We are live streaming through Instagram and Facebook. We would love to have your questions. Are you an entrepreneur? Or are you a business owner? If you are an entrepreneur or business owner, just type yes in the comments below so that I know who is online at the moment. I know I did get some questions from people going, I would love to have an online business. I'd love to start my own business, but I don't even know where to start. Do I need qualifications? And these sorts of questions were really flowing in. And I think that's a very valid point. Maybe we can discuss that initially, Lauren, because while everybody kind of types their questions below, is, there's a lot of people who have kind of all of a sudden gone, I had a job and now I don't have a job. What do I need to do to actually create an income for myself if I've never been an entrepreneur before? Do you get involved with people like that often? Do you get that kind of approach often?
Absolutely. So a lot of the work that I do, particularly in Future Females rather than in the Growth Academy side, is with really, really early stage entrepreneurs who are in the idea phase, potentially don't have clarity on what their idea is, or on the flip side, have so many ideas that they're overwhelmed before they even start. And they're like, how do I possibly niche down and pick something? And so my advice would be, if you're just like, I need to start a business, but I don't know what, is to pause. Try not do what I have been doing, which is diving straight into action, because the thing you don't want to do is start the wrong business. We all know that you're not going to start a business today and make money tomorrow. A lot of money in any case. Might be my first transaction was me testing my payment system. It was very exciting when it all came through. But it is a commitment. And so ideally, it's something that you can commit to for a period of time. And so you want to come at it from two perspectives. One is like, what is your passion? What is something that you will drive you? And what is, I'm consenting to being recorded. Yes.
I'm just looking on Facebook and it doesn't seem like it's going through. So
I've got you live on my Facebook.
Or is it coming through? Okay. All right. Great. Thank you for checking for me, Lauren. Sorry for that.
No problem. Lots of people saying hi as well from Pretoria. Also from Pretoria. Lots of yeses. So definitely people tuned in. Don't worry.
Okay, great.
Cool. So I think back to your question, the two ways to come at it. And one is very important, and that is, what do you want to create? But then, of course, you can't just create something because you want to. You want to make sure that there is commercial need for it in the market. And commercial need meaning people are actually going to pay for it. It's something that they need, not just want. So what I would be doing if I was in that situation is a bit of discovery, self-discovery. Maybe this is journaling. Maybe this is asking your friends and family, what do you ask me for advice on? What do you think is the value I can offer? Thinking about what are the skills you have from your job, if you've just left a job, that can still serve purpose in this world, because there are so many things. And then the flip side is get out there and just ask, not just friends and family, but real people, what are you struggling with? What can I help with? There's so much opportunity right now because no one built a business for COVID. That's a lie. There was one speaker at our Earn Your Income Summit who's been creating masks, a company called Mal Mask, for like 4 years based in Asia. I was like, how? How did you see this coming? And she didn't, but obviously was very well positioned. But most people are not, and therefore the opportunities are untapped.
That is amazing that she did that. But it's the entrepreneurial spirit is amazing, because I have seen so many people jump on this mask bandwagon, and people are making an insane profit off these masks. I was actually running on the promenade the other morning, and I saw this guy. He had like the Joker, the mouth of the Joker, on his face. And he showed me his masks, and he's printed all of these super cool masks that are not, because you get all kinds of masks, right? And I am that person who always wants the kids ones. Like, I'd rather be something that like sort of is fun than just be something normal, like you might as well have a good giggle at me than rather just walk past me, So I love that people have really jumped on it, and fashion designers as well have been creating like beautiful masks. But guys and girls, for those of you out there who've never been fashion designers, masks are actually really easy to make. It's a really simple design. So if you are somebody who sews, that's even something that you could delve into. But I'm going to go on to Patty Messiah. She says, good morning, Susana and Lauren. I need to know how to start a business. Do I need qualifications, which we already spoke about? Or are there any tools available already to enable this? What should I focus on? So Lauren's just answered that question, Patty. I hope that helped you. So let me know if you got a bit of direction from that. And
I can add something, Susana, specifically on the qualification question.
Perfect.
Last night I was doing some competitive research. I'm actually going through our business school right now, which is a 10-week program where we take female entrepreneurs from idea through to a profitable online business. So maybe look out for that program when it comes back if it is of interest, because it walks you through the exact process. But I always take one of my ideas through the journey with my members so that I'm kind of in the trenches as well as the coach. And so last night I was doing discovery on Facebook ads, which is something that I am very good at and I do every single day and I love. And there's things that I learned. There's a new strategy that I learned yesterday. And firstly, my ego took a hit because I was like, wow, this girl is doing something really cool. I was like excited. And then suddenly I was like, why don't I already know this? And now I'm excited again because I can go and implement it. But one of the things and how it links back to qualifications is you're always learning. And one of the things that's important when you start a business is unlearning what you think you know. If you start from assuming you know absolutely nothing, then you're actually going to get ahead further than people who go, oh no, I know that, and just keep pushing against this brick wall, potentially of what they've learned in corporate. When I left eBay after 3-4 years of working in social media and started my own business, I took that business into liquidation because what I learned with eBay's $1 million of budget definitely did not work with my zero budget. So you're not starting on the back foot. You're actually perhaps starting with a clean slate, which is very exciting.
It's so great that you say that because I'm always the eternal student, but so many people think, and it happens with qualifications as well. So Patty, keep this in mind. A lot of people think, okay, I've done a degree. I'm done the studying thing now and it's over. But actually you've got to continuously be learning. And in certain industries, it's required. Like if you're a doctor, you are required to keep learning. And I love that you said that you learned something yesterday, a whole new strategy, because Facebook also just upgrades their stuff. They change things so constantly that you have to almost every week be checking what's going on. How often do you look into the updates in Facebook on their different policies, their different, all of their different things?
I'm probably a bit abnormal on the Facebook and Instagram ad front because this is what I love. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like in my Facebook group getting algorithm updates before I'm saying hello to my boyfriend. I'm actually hoping he doesn't wake up. I'm like, oh, I can almost get through them all before he wakes up. But that's because it's my passion. I think the thing, it does change constantly. And so rather than feeling like you need to learn everything, you rather just need to surround yourself with the people who do check it every day. There's someone on my team who is obsessed with Pinterest. And so I just get my updates from her. I'm not even going to try and learn Pinterest. I probably never will. And I never have to. And so I think when you think in that mindset, rather than I'm never going to learn all of the aspects of building my business, you instead go, I'm just going to find the 10 sources of people and knowledge who do already know these building blocks and just follow their proven steps, step by step, and trust the process. I think often as entrepreneurs, we're creators. We think we can create, we want to be creative, and we think our way is going to be so much better than a way that's already been done. I have learned over and over again that my way is not better. I should just follow literally step by step without questioning what someone else has done with my own concepts obviously implemented, and then experiment. when I've invented something from scratch, it has never gone as well, which I hate to admit, but it's the truth.
That's very interesting, Lauren. So many of us are always, and we've heard this so many times as entrepreneurs, don't reinvent the wheel. Look at what's worked, don't go and try and reinvent the entire wheel. But a lot of us don't actually take that advice, and we don't actually implement it into our businesses. How far in are you with your 10-week program with your ladies?
We are in week 2.
You're in week 2. So tell us a little bit about that. Guys, I must apologize for all of you that are watching on Facebook. I cannot connect to my Facebook, so I can't see what's going on. I'm really, really sorry. So I am on Instagram, and if you want to ask me questions, please jump onto Instagram.
Don't worry. There's one question. Should I read it out from Facebook?
Yes, please.
It's actually not from Facebook. It was sent to me before, but I recognize the name. So Sean, I can see you've tuned in from Instagram, so thank you. I asked you guys, what's the biggest thing holding you back from building your business in the next 30 days? And Sean, if you don't mind me sharing, you said there were 2 things. One was confidence and one was time. So I think we can speak to both, and I'm sure Susana also has some thoughts to share on the confidence element specifically. There's always ambiguity in starting a business, right? And COVID has accelerated and accentuated that to no end. The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of embarrassment or of standing out or of responsibility, like all of those things are so, so real. And often we have all of them sitting in our head. I want to share an analogy that I heard a couple of weeks ago that I just absolutely love. It was from a coach, Danny Donald. And she is a mindset and self-mastery coach. She's incredible. And she used this analogy of an orchestra. And she said, all of your fears and all of your thoughts are different instruments in your orchestra. And what I took away is you get to choose where you sit. Are you going to sit next to your fear of failure where it is absolutely deafening? Or are you going to move and you're going to go and sit next to excitement? And ideally, you're going to take the conductor's chair and be orchestrating all of your different instruments because they all have a place. They all have a role to play. They're part of this beautiful melody of life. You'll only suffer when one overtakes all of the others. So I don't know if that analogy helps you, but it really does for me to go, I'm going to give this fear space, but then I'm going to put it back in its seat.
Yeah, I think that that's absolutely beautiful. And there's a wonderful poem, and I'm trying to think of who wrote it, but I'll share it with you, Lauren, because I think you would love it. And I think all of you guys will love it as well. So I will find it and I will share it. But he basically says your life is a piece of music. When you listen to a piece of music, you don't rush over any of the chords or the melodies. You enjoy every single moment. And I think that speaks to what we actually spoke about last time, that fear of failure. So many of us are so scared of failure, and that's what causes this lack of belief within ourselves and this lack of confidence within ourselves. But if we realize that life is not about that final chord, because you actually want to enjoy the process, the things that are happening, while you're figuring out how to make your business do the things that you want it to do, while you're figuring out how to reach more people, how to serve more people, how to deepen the quality of your products. That's part of the journey. And those little realizations that happen when you get something right. I mean, like you even mentioned doing your payment system and you being your first paying customer, but it actually worked. And you were like, yay, it worked. Those kind of moments are the precious moments that you look back on and you celebrate at some point, So I'm wondering if everybody online can just think of a moment in their path, in their journey where they've gone, yes, I did that, or I figured that out. And how I kind of got around like building my self-love and self-belief was I did a daily practice of writing down the things that I honored myself for. And that can be quite difficult initially, because if you've got a low self-esteem or you don't really believe in yourself, you feel quite awkward about it, right? You feel like, oh, what? I'm like now being all vain and stuff. It's not about that at all. But it is about recognizing where you have done something of value. And it can be in the smallest way. It can be that you made a difference in someone's day because you did something kind, or it can be some success, that you worked hard towards and you were like, yay, that was a milestone on my path to where I'm going. Because the reality is, it's never the end until we leave this planet. And then even then, it's not the end. But it is like you're on a journey. And like I loved what you said to me last time, Lauren, that, if you achieve your goals too easily, your goals are too small. And if we all put that in our minds and stop judging ourselves and start looking at every step that we've taken, even just sometimes getting out of bed when it's cold and you're fed up and you don't want to, that you've gotten up and you've shown up for your day. That's something. Like really recognize that and be gentle with yourselves, guys, because we are in a very strange situation and you are doing the best that you can. So, Lauren, I know that you've got a webinar that you are also, you've just launched it, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it's an all-new webinar. I'm really looking forward to running it. It's going to be next Monday at 12 p.m. South Africa time. And I guess to give you guys some context, what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks during this pause is listening to our community. And we've done a huge survey. We ended up getting 1,200 responses from mostly female entrepreneurs, some men all around the world, on not just what are they struggling with today, but what are their fears related to the future? And as we start coming out of COVID and the world changes again, what are your fears? What do you need support on? What are your motivations? And really, like, where can I fit in and where can my organization's Future Females and Growth Academy fit in? So we have had, as I said, an amazing response, a lot of rich feedback. And one of the particular niches we saw was for the side hustler, for people who are either very early stage, either in a business still making time while they're at home to try and start their idea, or potentially a necessity-based side hustler who may have had their job cut down, how to support them to build a business in a lean way online from wherever they are. So we're packaging up a whole bunch of nuggets into a 1-hour free training. It is called 4 strategies to build your online business from side hustle to 6 figures. So it is what it says on the box. We're going to be talking about the different types of side hustlers, the models that are working online right now. And I'm going to be sharing a model I've developed called PAVE, which is Profit, Attract, Visibility, and Engage, the 4 pillars you need in place to run a successful online business.
Amazing. That sounds so great. And that's Patty, that actually answers your question. This is where you need to be if you are finding trying to figure out what to do next. That's such a great webinar to be coming up, Lauren. So you're going to give me the link, and I'm going to post that up for everybody. And you guys are welcome to join. It's absolutely free, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
absolutely free. So you guys can join and be a part of this. And I think that it's worthwhile whether you are just creating a side hustle or even if you've got a baby business, because you will learn something from that. Because a baby business often is something you've started, and especially now it's suddenly become your main thing. And maybe it's not your side hustle anymore, it's your main thing, but it was going to be, and it might end up being again. So just pay attention, dive in and learn. With that, with all the research that you've been doing, Lauren, are there like 3 main things that have been fears that have come up that you guys will be addressing?
Yeah, there's you know what's interesting is that a lot of the fears at the start of COVID, we did a small survey, and it went from the key things we were addressing with our community at the start of this year, which were fear itself, procrastination, and perfectionism, and self-doubt, or the imposter monster, we call it, to being much more tangible fears, like sustaining myself and my family, achieving another source of income, learning online tools because my offline tools have been taken away. So that was a really marked shift. And actually at the start of this year, I was running a really successful webinar called How to Overcome Your 4 Biggest Mindset Blocks. And as soon as COVID hit, that webinar just stopped performing because people were like, I'm less worried about my perfectionism. I'm more worried about putting my food on the table. And so, which is completely understandable. What we've seen now is almost a meshing of the two. Those fears didn't go away just because we had other challenges to face. And so now it's almost tackling both the mindset and the practical elements together.
Okay. And if anybody wants to, because I've gotten a couple of messages, get hold of you, I am going to put a link to this webinar, but you guys can check out Future Females. There are numerous different things that you can do with Future Females. They run various webinars. They run various courses at different times of the year. Who is your ideal person, Lauren, your ideal client? Because I know that a lot of people also need to start with that. It's like, who am I, speaking to? So who are your people?
It's such an important place to start, right? When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up, losing everything. You end up as nothing to no one. I think that's the saying. Anyway, when we started, I, of course, was like, I want to help everyone in the world start a business, take control of their own income. This is the way to change the world. And I still believe that. But what we say is a future female is someone who has a common attitude. And this is an attitude that nothing is going to be handed to them, that they have all of the tools and access to the people and the resources that they need to take control of their own lives. And they are passionate about creating the future that they want to live in, not just for themselves, but also for their communities. So we specifically attract people with that mindset. We then deliver programs for people who are in the early stages of entrepreneurship. So we help 3 different types of people. One I would call the dreamer. You're dreaming about starting a business. You're in the pre-honeymoon phase and you're like, I know I want to do this at some point, but I don't know exactly what. We definitely help you get that clarity and take the first steps. We help the side hustler who is like, I've started, but oh my gosh, I do not see how this can replace my job. Like, can it? What do I need to do? And I only have a limited time to put into it. So we show you the lean marketing strategies, which is my background, to implement online to grow that revenue to match your job so you can leave your job. And then the third are in business founders. So these are people who are still quite early stage, 6 figures max per year, and really just looking at how to double down and scale online so that they're not just generating revenue, but are profitable and can start building up a team to support them to scale further.
Brilliant. Okay, so guys, it's been an hour, but it is 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock a.m. every morning, GMT +2, we howl in gratitude for all of the essential workers that have kept us going. And then we say thank you, thank you, thank you 3 times because it is the time in the world that the most people are awake. So I hope you will join me as I howl. Oh!
I feel like I need a balcony.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know, I also always wonder. I once did it and a cop car kind of stopped and I was like, hey, thank you. He was like, oh, hi.
Oh, that's beautiful. Susana, we had one more question on Facebook.
Yes, great. Please, yeah, Lauren, if you can.
Cool. So this was Elizabeth, and Elizabeth just said she's running a very successful business already, but wants to take new steps using more online platforms, creating beautiful content with stories and more online exposure. She's challenged in finding the right collaboration to achieve more visibility. Cool. So thank you for the question, Elizabeth. I think a lot of people are in your situation, but firstly, from your question, it sounds like you're already in the right mindset. It's now just taking that action. You mentioned stories, which is one of the best ways right now to be connecting online, whether you're on Facebook or on Instagram. Actually, LinkedIn just introduced stories too, which is fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, and I love it. And obviously, it's a response to the fact that People are engaging with stories way more than any sort of static content in your feed. So I would absolutely be thinking about how to use video right now, sharing authentic behind the scenes stories, introducing yourself. You already have a business, so you probably already have some online audience. So just reconnect with them, reintroduce yourself, ask them what they want to know, ask questions like Susana and I have been sharing prior to this session, pop up live and answer them. Start with engaging, because engagement is the key to growth. So if you can engage your current followers, they'll share, but also the algorithm will then start promoting up your new content. The thing that you mentioned that's great is collaborations. So one of the best ways to grow substantially is to run ads. The second best way that doesn't cost you anything is by finding other people with likely a similar sized audience to you who you can collaborate with, whether it is doing a live together like this, whether it is doing a value exchange. Maybe you offer one of their freebies, they offer one of yours, whether you do a competition and you both put something into the pot and share it and ideally then promote it a little, or whether you do a collaborative challenge and you give people, depends on your business model, like an action to take once a day for 5 days and then share. All of these are really good. I call them growth hacks because you're hacking someone else's audience, and that's how you can grow, not just incrementally, which content gives you, a few followers a day up to say 10, 50 and gradually grow from there, but it will give you a bit of a leapfrog. So I hope that helps you. If it's the actual approaching someone that is the barrier, just do it. They're in the same situation as you. Don't be unrealistic. Don't message Nike and ask if they want to collaborate. That's not going to work. Someone else who is in a relevant industry, their audience is likely the same profile as yours, of a roughly the same size of account. If you can explain the value for them, which is the value you also want to receive, then it's going to be a no-brainer.
That's such great advice. I remember feeling so scared of asking, because you're scared of the rejection. And then I reframed it and I was like, okay, what if rejection is just redirection? What if that was not meant for me? And guys, you can use this in anything, in business, in relationships. When something rejects you, when someone rejects you, just know, and I really believe this, that it means that something even better is around the corner. And so keep that in mind. It's not because you're not good enough. It's just because it's not right for you. So move somewhere else and you will find the thing that is right for you and will serve you even better than what you anticipated the first one would. So that's my little input on the scared of rejection thing. It's just redirection. And just say that to yourself. It's just redirection, my love. Something better is around the corner. And I do believe that. So I'm getting ha and hearts and thank yous. Great on Instagram. Lauren, thank you so much. And thank you for your time. I hope that it's warming up there. It's getting cooler here. But you are luckily going into spring now, aren't you?
Oh, next week I'm going to have a tan.
Good for you. I'm going to be self-tanning myself in Cape Town. For everybody that tuned in, just remember that next week I will not be on as always. I will be back in the first week of June. I'm so sorry, but I need to take a week to just reformulate and do what a lot of you guys have been doing and I haven't taken the time to do. But then I will be back with the full program. But I will be sharing that webinar with you guys. Do you want to give them the webinar details again, Lauren, just so that they remember when and where to tune in?
Yes, it is Monday at 12 p.m. It is obviously an online webinar. So we'll share a link as soon as we drop off. And you can just go sign up free, secure your spot. You'll get an email from me. You'll get a reminder, as I'm sure you can expect. And we will connect on Monday. That's 12 o'clock South Africa time. 11 a.m. for me in the UK.
Perfect. So that is where I will be on Monday, guys. I'm going to be feeding my brain next week, and I hope you guys will join me. But bye for now. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Bye.